This is 48 hours after the fresh chicken manure. Same story. Worms are not happy. Okay. They're still active and alive. Just took the paper newspaper cover that was half kind of worked over, full of worms. Now it's starting to decompose. I just shredded it all up, and I'm going to mix that in where the chicken manure is. I'm going to dilute it even further. Got to keep my little worms happy. Now I did that to myself, right? I did this to my worms. I added fresh chicken manure, which you know, it's not detrimental to my worms, but they're not happy and they're letting me know. So I am going to further dilute this. I'm going to put this paper shreds in there, and then I'm going to let this air out all day. Check on it frequently, and then see what happens overnight and tomorrow. I've added all the shredded up newspaper in this corner. Not only does it add carbon and it dilutes the chicken manure, it also will create all these air holes and pockets where the worms can just hide out and hang out in if they want to. Let's go check on the ferret food while we're here. Here we are. Okay. This is disintegrating quite well and disappearing. Put the wormies back on it. Put this as a marker so we know where it's at. And I have a banana feast over here. And as always, bananas are quite a favorite. See lots of worms over here. Getting down to the banana. Okay. Oh, I feel another banana. Yep, they're still working on that. Put all the wormies back where they belong so they can go back and finish eating that. Bananas have always been a favorite. Banana peels are a long food, so they take a little bit longer to disappear. So my worms really are never without food if I had a banana peel in there. And there's my very involved Great Dane. We'll be back and check on these tomorrow. Stay tuned. Day 3 after the chicken manure. This is much better. My worms are staying where they belong. I don't see any evidence of them hanging out quite at the top, which is good. Let's take a quick peek. Okay. A few at the top, but they're retracting from the light, which is good. They're not all huddled up in one corner, which is also good. All right. I'm going to let them do their thing and check back in a couple of days. This is day 4 of the fresh chicken manure. Again, I don't see any signs of distress. And then uncover here. Alright. Some worms on the surface, but they're hiding away when they see light. So this is normal behavior. And lots of worms in the chicken manure and newspaper. And that's good. They're just working it over. All right. So far, still good. This is day 7 after adding fresh chicken manure to my bin. I don't see any signs of distress once again, so I think my worms have settled down quite a bit. I took off the newspaper on this side. I'm gonna remove it. You should see some worms at the top of your bin, but they should be doing what these are doing. They should be scattering around and away. Oh, look at this pair. Let's dig this one in. They're having sexy time. A couple of them are having sexy time. And this is where I added the fresh chicken manure. Take this cover off, and I see a lot of vermicompost. I see a lot of the newspaper shreds I put in here to rectify the conditions. So all this is looking good. My worms are happy. I don't see big clumps of chicken manure, so I think they've composted all of that. I think going forward, I want to experiment with chicken manure. I want to see how long I have to let it marinate and pre-compost before I add it to my bins, and how fast my worms compost through the chicken manure. So that's going to be pretty much my focus of my videos coming up. I did start worm farming so I could compost all my chicken manure, kind of keep my own carbon footprint down. And here we are. I'm also going to check on the ferret food. I had placed that in this corner over here with the paper kind of marking the spot. I see lots of worms over here. Let's see if we can find any remnants of the food. Lots of worms. A little bit of food left, and that's okay. They can continue to compost all of that. And here's the food, kind of mushed up. But lots of worms. I'm trying to work that over, so that's also good. Good to know I can put leftover ferret food in here. And then if you remember from my previous videos, in this corner I had the banana feast and lots of worms. Bananas are always a favorite in my bin. Lots of worms. Still some banana peels left, but bananas are longer food. They take a little bit longer to be fully composted and worked over and eaten up, and that's okay. If my bin ever runs out of food, they can always come to a banana peel, because I always have plenty of those laying around. And again, I have my very involved Great Dane right here, trying to sniff and smell what I'm doing over here. I also have some corn husks stuck in the corner, and I'm of the opinion once you add something to the bin, it should not come out unless it looks like vermicompost, because there could be plenty of worms inside of these husks working their way through all these little crevices and holes. And so I will be keeping these in here until they're fully decomposed and decomposted, or composted rather. All right, I'm not going to feed this bin for a little while. I'm going to fluff it all up. I'm going to air it out. I'm going to let them work through all this newspaper. And once this is a little bit more dry, I'm going to let this air out for maybe a day, 2 days. I'm not going to feed it. I'm not going to add any moisture. I'm just going to let it dry out a little bit more so it's easy to shake out the vermicompost, and then I will do a reset. I never quite do a complete reset. I see some eggs over here, cocoons, so my worms are happy. I never do a complete reset because I want to keep healthy bacteria in here, and it is less stressful on the worms to keep some of their existing bedding around. But I am going to let this dry out. Lots of compost in here. A little bit too moist to sift out, but that's okay. Plenty of food in here they can continue to work on. And here's another cocoon. One more. Favorite pastime of me is picking out all the cocoons and put them in my cocoon box and just let them hatch and grow, and then use those worms, you know, for different projects, different experiments, chicken feed, or you know, when disaster strikes in this bin, this is like my savings account. This is my start over bin. It's already inoculated. It's all nice vermicompost. It's got baby worms in here, a little bit bigger worms, because I keep adding cocoons to this bin. That way my working worms keep producing cocoons, because they do self-regulate their population. And like I said, if disaster fully strikes this bin and I have to throw it all out and start over, which luckily has only happened to me when I was a fresh, brand new worm farmer, I'll have worms ready to go to work. All right. In a day or two, I will sift this out. I'll show you the process of that, and then I'll show you how I reset my bin. Till then,